what do you know? They've done it. The sun has risen for Hyderabad and they were up to the royal challenge and they have defeated the Bangalore team. They really put a spanner in the works here for Bangalore and they managed to do it actually quite interestingly towards the end. 13 to win of the last over for Bangalore and falling 4 runs short. 137 for 6 is all they managed with a target of 142. Just couldn't get there. Things not looking good for them today. A lot of things, and we'll discuss them. You're watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. My name is Gaurav Kapur. With me, Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar. Lisa, because it is 4 in the morning, we'll start with you so we can wrap you up in a couple of minutes and then we can get...
Hey, it's nearly 5 a.m. Like, come on. You're just cutting out 50 minutes of the... Come on.
Well, then you must be bright awake by now. At 5 a.m. is early morning. Let's do a 45-minute show. Come on, bring it home, bring it home. Bangalore not able to bring it home. You got to give it to the Hyderabad bowlers. Geez, they did a good job, but Bangalore made a hash of it as well, right?
Yeah, just they're still searching for that number 3, aren't they? They tried Dan Christian again. He hasn't gotten off 1. I think 1 is his highest score so far this season, poor guy.
I think it's binary. He's gone 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. That's it. He's in the matrix. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously Glenn Maxwell being run out. That was probably the turning point for Sunrisers because he was the one that was going, whereas Devdutt Padikkal was really struggling to find his timing. And I thought AB was going to get them across the line, hence why they hold him back for these exact situations. But he just couldn't get the job done. Yeah.
Again, Michael, the batting order, right? We spoke about it in the comm box at the 10-over mark. And it's just, if you want to be a champion team, game 13, what is it, game 13? Was it their last game? This was game 13 for them, sorry. Game 13, you can't be doing this with your batting order, right?
No, I actually think them losing the game will be the best thing that happens to them because they'll realise that this batting lineup is wrong. You know, Dan Christian shouldn't be at number 3. Having AB de Villiers strolling out there with just 35 balls remaining it's just not enough. He's a player that can get you 100 off 60. So surely you should be thinking, as I said at the halfway house, AB can start the innings, he can middle the innings, and he can finish the innings. Why are you just using him as just a finisher? It is beyond me. So I think by them losing, if they'd have got over the line, they'd have probably potentially gone with the same formation going forward. But now they've lost, they'll realise that, well, it's not working. Dan Christian can't be at number 3. Just send Maxwell in at 3, put AB at number 4, keep it simple. You know, you got some nice left-hand, right-hand combinations, I guess, if you want to mix that up at 4, 5, and 6. If you want to kind of move AB down one place to get a left-hander in there. But, you know, 120 balls, it's quite a lot of balls, but it's not a lot when you've got Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, and Glenn Maxwell. Just split those 120 between those 3, and I think they'll be fine.
The Hyderabad bowlers, of course, proper team effort, 1 apiece. Let's just all share it, right, equally. And then, of course, your captain comes in and gets the most important wicket, which is a run out of Glenn Maxwell. But out of these, good last over holding his nerve by Bhuvi, you would have thought that maybe he doesn't because of that dropped catch of the 19th.
Yeah, just Jason Holder, the penultimate over we know is so crucial when he comes to the shortest format. It really does set up the last over. So Kane Williamson obviously throws the ball. He's got 2 experienced campaigners, hasn't he, at the helm, Jason Holder and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. So he goes with Jason Holder. Bhuvi puts it down and he thought, oh, is that the game there? But he was able to pick up the same Shabazz in the last ball of his last over. So then it allowed, 13 runs. And that, I think, going in the last over, if you're a bowling side, anything over 12 to 13 runs, you still feel like you're in with a good opportunity. Though AB de Villiers was there and he nearly, like I said, got them across the line with that 6.
But not on strike. That was another important thing, right?
Yeah.
13 of the last over with AB not being on strike. Finally got on strike and, I guess it was not to be. So good point by Michael that a win would have probably just polished over these cracks a bit. But they have to ask some questions definitely about this batting lineup. Devdutt Padikkal, Michael, a word on him, because he did not. He looked like a guy who was pretending to be Devdutt Padikkal today.
Yeah, I sometimes feel sorry for the likes of Padikkal batting in this batting lineup because, let's be honest, we all sit on our sofas at home and going, come on, get AB out there. Come on, get Glenn Maxwell out there. And for every ball that he wastes up, I think the opposing team are thinking, oh, thank you. Stay out there. Just stay out there another over. Let's not get AB de Villiers out there too soon. And then he runs out Glenn Maxwell. And he doesn't see his team over the line, he'll know that 41 balls for 52 is not really a great reward when you face that amount of balls at the top of the order. But I do feel sorry for other players in this batting lineup, because those three, we talk about that three all the time, and rightfully so, because they're so good. But it's somehow trying to find the other players in the order a kind of a worth for themselves, to make sure that they're not always just feeling that it's just about those three, because he's a good player.
Yeah.
I must admit, I always get impressed by newcomers in the game, and I have to say, Umran Malik looks a real player. A real quick bowler of natural kind of release and action. It's just it's always lovely to see quick bowlers that don't look like they're putting a huge amount in, but it just releases out the hand with a delivery around 150. So I think we'll be seeing plenty more of him.
Also, he's played 2 games, Lisa, but he's got the 5 fastest deliveries already.
I know.
Play him another game. But Hyderabad has 1 game left. Play him another game. He could have the top 10. He could be the Billboard chart all by himself.
I think he will. I mean, the confidence that he'll get from being out there and playing, it will just keep growing. And, he's a young guy still new to this level and being able to execute. But boy, does he hurry them up. I think there was a shot that Glenn Maxwell played where he just, short ball, wasn't even looking, kind of just ducked his head out of the way. So, you're getting a guy who's peeled off, 3 half centuries in a row and then another 40 odd today. Means you're bowling with some good heat.
And Sid Call.
I tell you what, when the auction comes around, it'll be interesting, because obviously the Sunrisers will want to keep him. Will they retain him, or will he go out into the paddle gate? He could be one of those paddles. He could be paddles.
How many can they retain, by the way?
No, we don't know yet, because there's 2 new teams. Okay. Yeah, there's two new teams coming in, which will be announced, I think, in about 2 weeks from now. And as soon as those get announced, then you'll know, because the earlier auction, a couple of auctions, they had 3 retentions and 2 right to match cards. But now if you allow 3 retentions, the 2 new teams are coming in and saying, well, that's 24 of the top players gone, right? So what are we getting then? Who's our marquee players? So it's quite interesting. I mean, I'm sure the BCCI will find an answer which is fair to all the stakeholders, but it's going to be interesting to watch. But I like Michael Vaughan's term, Paddlegate. Paddlegate is one. I just heard you. I also heard you say, I heard you refer to the com box as the halfway house. Never called it that. That's pretty good. I like that as well. I may be using that. For people who've seen Shawshank Redemption, the halfway house means something else altogether. But our com box can sometimes turn out to be the doghouse for some batters, because there's a proper com box curse going on. So it really can. I don't think anybody wants to be batting when we go on air for that. All right. So, that's the story now. Let's have a look at what the points table looks like, especially for Bangalore. Let's have a look at what it looks like for them. They really needed to win this today to really challenge for a place in the top 2. Now, it's really out of reach for them, because even if they win their last game, right, Lisa, even if they win their last game, they'll have to beat Delhi by, 100 plus runs or something. There's some not
happening.
Yeah, but really big kind of, and then require Punjab to beat Chennai really big as well, because they're trying to get, what is that? Almost a point up in. No, hang on, that's not happening. Can't go a point up. That's like you score 250 and get the other team out in 1 over, right? Something like that.
I think for Bangalore coming into their last game, it's all about trying to. They've lost this encounter. It's about trying to flip and change the momentum, so that they go into the finals feeling good about themselves. And it may be figuring out who your number 3 is, whether it is Maxwell that goes to 3, then AB at 4. Yeah. They've just got to sort that out, get on a winning momentum so that they can take that into the finals. Because if they lose again, then it gets really hard. 2 back-to-back losses, so they've got to just put this one aside and get on with it.
Yeah, remember last year they went into the playoffs on the back of 4 losses in the league stage. So you definitely don't want to take that kind of lack of confidence. You don't want to lose your last 2 and go into the playoffs. So that's not something they really want to do. 2 bowlers, of course, and Michael, we spoke about them. And Harsha just tweeted about Harshal. It's one of those Bristons, like Brisbane, Bristol, Harshal. He said, what do you think about him in the T20 team if the wickets are going to be like this? And it was one of those discuss tweets. He likes to do those discuss things. Yeah, a little more than you do, Michael. Michael pronounces judgments. So what do you think?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I honestly think all teams, looking at where the IPL is being played, it's the same places as the T20 World Cup. And if players like Chahal, like Patel do so well, why wouldn't you add them to your squad? I don't think you're doing your selectorial kind of mechanism correctly if you're not looking at players who are doing so well. I can't imagine the wickets are going to suddenly be shirt fronters and belters because, a ground staff can only prepare so many wickets. It's not like they've got mile-long squares to play with. It's going to have to be the same pitches. It's going to be pitches that probably offer a little bit of spin, offer a little bit of grab with the slow balls. I don't think we'll be seeing 210, 220 scores. It's probably going to be like the 150 scores. So yeah, absolutely. I think India will potentially look at that squad and think, wait a minute. These 2 players in particular, with the ball in hand, have been the top of the tree in terms of the IPL. Why don't we add them to the squad?
But who are the 2 spinners because there'll have to be 2 spinners. You only got 3 quicks, so you can't replace a quick. It's got to be 2 spinners who have to make way for Chahal and Harshal Patel. But there you go. He's just way ahead. He's at 29 wickets. He still has 1 game to play in the league and then as many in, the playoffs. Nobody knows how many. But he's obviously doing really well. But yeah, questions galore. But I don't know if they're going to make any changes. There's 3 days or 4 days left for teams to make final changes to their squad. Is there a twist in the tail for these Bangalore lads? Well, hang on. We can take a call. We can just kind of chat about it. All right. So that's today's game. We thought that, it might be a little dull, but no, it turned out to be reasonably exciting towards the end. So it was definitely fun to watch. There's 2 games tomorrow. I promise you, none of these games are going to be dull tomorrow for sure. It's a double header, right, coming right towards the end. We only have 3 games left in the league stage. Chennai playing Punjab. Chennai win that. Definitely 1-2 finish. There is no question about it at all. So it's in their hands. And Calcutta and Rajasthan. Now, if Calcutta, this is where it gets interesting, right? You know that Mumbai is cheering for Rajasthan tomorrow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
The Mumbai team are all wearing pink jerseys tomorrow and watching this game. They're like, come on, Rajasthan, do this for us. Why? Well, the old points table comes out again, so we can do a little bit of math for you and show you, because as you know, we are all math professors. This is very simple math, actually. This is the love triangle between Rajasthan, Calcutta, and Mumbai. So there you go. If Kolkata wins tomorrow, right, if it's a close game, now remember the last game, Calcutta won, but their net run rate came down. That's because they won it with such a drag. So that's a possibility as well. You can go ahead, but actually go back. They moonwalked with their net run rate on that one, right? And now if Rajasthan beats them tomorrow, then it's set up for the last day for Mumbai to win and qualify. It's as simple as that. If Calcutta wins tomorrow and they win small, they win it at a crawl, they still go to 14, but they're not safe because Mumbai could potentially win big like they did in the game yesterday and derail Kolkata or grab that 4th qualification stop. The only advantage for Mumbai will be that even if Calcutta wins tomorrow, Michael, they will have the exact calculation going into the game the next day. You know what they need to do to qualify. And if my mind races back to that Wankhede Aditya Tare against Rahul Dravid coached Rajasthan, where Mumbai had to get across the line, I think in 14 point, 13 point something, and they got it done in the last ball and qualified. My mind goes back to that. Mumbai fans are very happy about it, but it just gives a very interesting end to the tournament either ways.
Yeah, I actually think from a KKR perspective, it's a great position to be in because you know they have to win. You know, I think Mumbai will win the last game. So KKR win, I think they'll be through, and it'll put them in a nice kind of mentality of knowing that they've already won a must-win game. Then you go into the knockouts, you have to win. You know, some of these teams, particularly Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore, they've got themselves into such a strong position that they know that they've been able to lose. You know, I really think that you get to the elimination stage, it's good going into the elimination when you know you've had to win a game, desperately needed to win that game. If they don't win, and we said it before the game started, I honestly think Mumbai can still win this tournament. It's Mumbai.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm sure they'll win that. If KKR lose tomorrow, I'm sure Mumbai will win that last game. They'll go into those eliminations with confidence. They seem to have found their right combinations. Ishan Kishan found form. Sort of Kumar Yadav found a little bit of rhythm. They're going to be the team to beat if they get through. It's just Mumbai Indians, the IPL. They pretty much win it, don't they?
I'll tell you, there's my secret sources tell me that Loki Ferguson and Andre Russell have been training.
Your
my
nephew.
secret sources are actually my nephew, 15, who tracks the Knight Riders social media a bit like Mark Zuckerberg tracks our phones, right? Just all over it. He's heard this as well. Even though I know he doesn't watch this show. I know that for sure. But if they come back, then they obviously walk back into the team, don't they, Lisa? If they're both fit and available. Or would you just kind of...
They do. My only concern is Russell. Because everyone holds his breath every time he dives for a ball or tries to stop a boundary. And they seem to have found... or not replaced him. You can't replace a Russell and what he can do. But they seem to be kind of ticking along nicely. I mean, Morgan needs to find some form. Like if there is ever a time for the skipper to stand up, it has to be right now. But Ferguson, I think, is a bigger miss at the moment. I think if you can get through to the finals, then Russell comes in and then you're laughing, so to speak. But I just worry about Russell because he's so injury prone.
Yeah, if you just pull the squad up and just have a look at that, if Loki was to come in, who would you play him for? Are you playing him for Saudi or are you playing him for Shakib? Where's the match happening tomorrow? Sharjah. So you definitely want to play Shakib there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably bringing him for Southey, but Southey is, again, he's a performer. You know, he always seems to produce a bit of magic. It wouldn't surprise me if Morgs stays with a similar team with what he's had because he likes to get on these roles and he'll know in his own mind that he'll need a score, you know, but his captaincy and his kind of culture that he creates with Brendan McCullum is very, very strong. So I'm not saying he's MS Dhoni because MS Dhoni has got years and years of experience of doing this, but I do think Owen Morgan has a similar kind of trait with players around him. He makes them into better players and he improves their game by being the leader and managing them. So he needs some runs, but I don't think it's absolutely crucial that he gets runs all the time. I think he adds so much more with his tactics and his man management.
And if you look at the Rajasthan squad, now Rajasthan's had strange 2 games, right? There was the one game where they beat Chennai, and what a win that was, and then they lose in 8.5 overs to Mumbai. So you're looking at this team and saying, well, hang on, which of those 2 teams is going to show up? They need the versus Chennai team to show up tomorrow, Lisa.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and it falls largely on their openers, to be honest. Evan Lewis and Yashasvi Jaiswal. You know, when those guys give them the acceleration at the start, it just settles everyone else coming in, and we saw that with that 190 chase. Question marks still about David Miller and how he fits in. Like I haven't seen him. I think he scored a 60 the first game, maybe. And then he hasn't really done anything. And there's been a number of seasons now in IPL. And he's come in and out of sides. I get that, and that's hard. But, that would be maybe the one change I would make.
You also have Michael's favorite, Liam Livingston, right?
I'd bring him in.
Would you bring Liam Livingston in for David Miller, you're saying, right? So if you just pull that squad up again, because Liam also... I know he's had, a few opportunities and he's not shown anything with the bat, but his class and also the fact that he can give you a bit on that charge-up pitch, because no matter what everybody says, or there's a little shine, there's a little, it's going to be low and slow, boring and dull. So he could roll his arm over a little bit as well.
Yeah, I would go for that change. I mean, he can bowl your leg spin, off spin. He's a brilliant fielder. He's not fired with the bat yet, but he's a class act. Rajasthan always make me laugh. I mean, they're the one team that talks about Moneyball more than anybody talks about Moneyball. They've written a book.
Have they?
I mean, I know a lot about them because they've written a book with Simon Hughes, who I worked with for a few years, on how the IPO works and operates and running a franchise. It's a great read, but you kind of look at the book and read it and think, this is a great read, but you haven't won since the first year. But how are you telling everyone how to do it?
Fair enough.
If it's so easy and so obvious how to run it and produce Moneyball and pick players and use data and stats, surely you should be more competitive. Surely you should be winning more games of cricket. They're brilliant at talking. They're just not very good at playing
That's
the game.
crazy. Maybe their excuse is that they gave all the secrets away in the book. And now everybody's just...
It's like, here, have all our information, but by the way, we won't use what we're telling you what to do. We don't actually do that. But it works.
You know that old Genesis Phil Collins song, right? Just do as I say, don't do as I do. Yeah, that's what it is. Just do as I say, don't do as I do. That's exactly what's happening with Rajasthan. Yeah, good point though. Would you play Liam Livingston? Would he be in your team? Yes, there is dependence, of course, on the openers, Evan Lewis and Jaiswal, and they've shown they've been in good nick as well. So let's just hope that the versus Chennai team shows up tomorrow, because that will really be a good encounter. And we want to see some good matches going towards the end. Let's have a look at a second game tomorrow. This game is happening in Dubai. It's Chennai v Punjab. Another team that, you're always questioning the makeup of that team, changes, who they're getting in, have they found their balance? And of course, there's a Chennai team which has their balance. So, I mean, I don't think there's going to be any changes with the Chennai team. So let's just look at the Punjab team. What's the point? Look at the Punjab team. Just look at that. Yes. How many changes? Who are the changes? Go. I'll come back in 10 minutes.
It's hard trying to pick, isn't it, with them and what they're going to do. I think Moses Enriquez did well. Picked up a 3 for, I think they'll give him another opportunity as your international. Aidan Markram, Nicholas Puran hasn't necessarily fired for him. I'd like to see Fabian Allen. I think he's a good all-round player, but the thing is you need someone up the top. So, they've got a few little things to figure out moving forward as well for the next IPL, which is only 6 months away.
They can get him in because they only played with 3 overseas players last time, right? They only played with the 3 overseas. Okay. So they can get Fabian Allen in just for even one of the Indian players. Michael?
Yeah, the Punjab are the kind of team that I look at most teams and you see a structure. You can see an opening batter, you can see a 3 and a 5, you can see a couple of spin-ups, you see a couple of quickies. I always look at Punjab and think, where is the spine in the side? They're absolute. Usually in the IPL, you have 6 or 7 that play every game. And around that, Chennai play 11 and that's it. They don't move. But generally, you have 6 or 7 who play every game, and then you manoeuvre. Punjab, you don't quite see a spine of like real substance. And every game, we have no clue. We have no clue which way they're going to go. There's no consistency in what they're trying to achieve. And, they've done okay. They've won a few games. But, I think to be a really good side, I think you need consistency in selection over a long period. And then you'd hope that consistency brings you more consistent performances because players believe that they belong in the side over a period of time. When you're swapping and changing all the time, you're always playing for that game and hoping you get another game. So the one message I'd say, try and be a bit more consistent over a longer period of time to give those players a little bit more belief that once they're picked, they're going to get that opportunity to play for a few games, not just for the one game.
Their spine's right at the top, right? There's Rahul and Mayank.
Well, it's just the 2.
Yeah, it's just the 2, and then you don't know.
That's it. That's not a spine. That's just
L4 and L5, right? It's L4 and L5 right at the top, and then kind of slip disc right after that because everyone's kind of slipping and sliding and coming in and coming out. Let's see what they do tomorrow. It's anybody's guess. With Chennai, nobody has to guess because right? This is what it's going to be. There's the one highlighted yellow that you see over there is a replacement for Sam Curran. They've announced a replacement for Sam Curran. It's Dominic Drakes. I like the fact that they've got somebody in what is obviously probably, I don't know if he's on the plane, if he's in quarantine or what it is. It's probably going to be available.
Where was he?
I'm guessing.
Where was he? Was he just in the stands?
He must have been like a net bowler or something, could he?
Must have been in the stands or something. Must have come to watch a game.
Maybe.
Like, oh, you're here. It's just...
You can join.
The one thing which they'll want to get back to winning ways. They've lost a couple of games, not been able to defend a couple of times. Rajasthan chasing down, and Delhi the other evening, they just didn't quite get it right in the field. So I just think, like what we're talking about, all the other teams getting into that momentum of winning, going into the eliminations. Chennai and MS will want to get that win to just make sure they've got that winning feeling going into the knockout.
And you feel
stage.
that if Dhoni wins the toss, he will definitely bat first, because if that's a problem, if defending has been a problem twice, he'd say, oh, one sec, we have to correct this before we go into the playoffs. Lisa, do you think that he would do that? And tell his team that, come on, bat first and give me a big score?
No. I think he'll go with what?
Who knows what he thinks?
I think you got to look at the stats and try and get everyone feeling comfortable before the last game, not challenge yourself before the last game.
Okay, that's a good point as well. Yeah. But then it's also Dhoni. Dhoni likes to make people... Dhoni's skill is to make people comfortable with the challenge. Right. So that's what he does.
He is a bit of a freak. So, he can do whatever. You're right.
So it's amazing. It's completely unpredictable. We have no idea what these two teams will do in the evening tomorrow. So what's the point of even trying to predict? We have no idea what's going to happen. Just like we never have any idea what is the joy factor question. Today also, we saw the question, but we had no idea what the question was. Here's the question. Do you know the question? I'll read it out. It's a formality. If Tony Greig was the 14th cricketer to achieve this feat in Test cricket, who was the 8th, and what specific feat did they accomplish? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
I'll admit, as soon as it goes up on Twitter, I look, and obviously everyone's got the answers, so I know the answer now.
What is the answer?
Oh, do you? Go on.
Richie Benaud. And both of them, it's their birthday, isn't it, today?
A century
in 5 wickets
in the same test. Ashwin did this in Chepauk. He was the last to do it. A century and 5 wickets in an innings in the same test. The 8th is Richie Benaud, Tony Greig's fellow commentator. Both were born today on the 6th of October. And to commemorate that, Michael Vaughan will be doing a Tony Greig impression, and Lisa with her best Richie Benaud.
I can't do Richie Benaud. That is sacrilege.
Chew for 22.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do. You see, it's wrong to do either. They were both legends.
We can only, as pundits, we can only aspire to have some kind of catchphrase that is remembered as our tag.
But I will add, you guys are doing a good job of trying to slime out of it. But I'm just saying that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So on their birthdays, that would be such a great tribute. Not my first rodeo, kids.
Gareth, you've got all the impersonations.
He's hit that hard, and he's hit that hard, and they're dancing in the aisles.
Hard and forced.
Hit that hard. And Richie, you're right. Richie stuff. Chew for 22. That's all I can say. Chew for 22. Two greats, two all-time greats. Well, I miss their voices, definitely. And sometimes I think I just watch highlights of old games, probably just to hear them. Tony Cozier, Bill Lawry. Bill Lawry was one of my favorites. He said, hi. I said, hi. It's a 4. It's a 4. Still love him as well. Bill Lawry. Tony Cozier, very difficult. Yeah,
well, see, actually, with Bill Lawry, his catchphrase was like, "Oh, got him!" Really loud because he assumed everyone was in the house somewhere and cricket was being played just in the background. So by squealing out, everyone runs into the living room to see the replay, which is true.
Nice.
Makes a lot of sense.
He was the earliest notification.
Yes, correct. Right? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. Gaurav, well done.
No, that's it. I maxed out for the night. That's it. I don't think I can do any better. But somebody has done very well, better than all the others. winner of our Joy Factor question, Parth Narodia. Parth has won this before. I am absolutely convinced. So, Parth, congratulations on doing this again. You have played your part today as a cricket fan. Well done, Parth. Good job. All right. That's it. We're going to scoot out of here because it's 6 a.m. for Lisa. She's got to go eat breakfast. We want to tell you about Cricbuzz Plus. Sign and subscribe.
Bonnie, don't laugh. Don't you laugh.
It's dinner time for him.
It's 20 past 7 over here. We're just going to go out to the pub.
And enjoy the spirit of cricket. That's what he's going to do. Well, Lisa, I know you can't go out, but nothing's stopping you from enjoying a little tipple at 6 a.m. Come on.
No. Melbourne's in lockdown. Nothing is open.
I mean, a beer can be open.
So you're not allowed on the
No,
streets?
you can go for a
Nothing?
walk and exercise, but things aren't open.
Right.
Yeah.
No restaurants,
living
no
the
bars?
dream at the moment.
Oh, poor thing. We'll let her get to bed now. We'll let her get to bed before the sun comes up.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar for joining us. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, it's the 2 games. So Cricbuzz Live in Hindi and in English at 2:50 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So that's tomorrow. But on the 8th, again, there's 2 games, but both of them will be happening at the same time. More on that tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.